have you found like an email formula, if you will, that works today?
It's really all about building that relationship. I found the best and most successful tactic is you get them involved in creating a piece of content.
Hey, this is Pep. I'm here with Sujan Patel, my good friend here in Austin. He's a growth marketer, has a lot of experience in SEO and content marketing. And I invited him over to talk about something very important, content distribution. Now, I've hired a lot of writers. I've worked with a lot of writers. It's not that difficult to find good writers, not easy as well, but it's very difficult to find people who know content distribution.
I think it's probably the hardest part of content marketing, right? I think the hiring of writers or writing of content, the content part of it is fairly easy. You can hire people on ProBlogger, you can find industry experts, but like the marketing part is the key to not just like, it's not the most difficult part, not just the most difficult part, but it's also the most important part. Like it is the most impactful. Like if you write the best post and you didn't have CXL awesome traffic source and no one saw it, that doesn't do anything, right?
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
It's a single point of failure, actually.
Yeah, for us, it's like sending it out to a newsletter is most of it.
Yeah.
So let's say like I'm writing a post, so there's some work that goes on before writing the post, during and after. So tell me about those phases. So what do I do before writing the post?
That's a good question, because before is actually the most important part. It's the prep work that you do that makes or breaks the actual content piece. So what I mean by this is that, one, you should figure out what you're going to write about, right? So doing your research, and that also means doing your research on who the influencers are in the space, right? I'm sure you get a bunch of these emails of like, I mentioned this article, hey, you wrote about this. Like that stuff is so good 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, but like the more people do it, the less effective it is. And so there's only a finite amount of influencers or leaders in a space.
The law of shitty click-throughs. Yeah.
Exactly. So do your research and figure out how you can build a relationship with them or where you can meet them in person. Like, so if I met you at CXL, your conference, CXL Live, and then I emailed you, you'd be okay. But if I emailed you first and I didn't say it, like you didn't know me at all, bad, right? Or if I emailed you about your conference, good, right? So like, you have to figure out what their angle, like what angle can you play, but ultimately focus on building a relationship. So that's prerequisite number one, what you do beforehand. Prerequisite number two is really just Googling stuff, right? Like this is the most basic thing anybody can do. Just if you're gonna write about, let's say you're gonna write about content distribution. Let's say we're gonna write about this exact topic. I'm gonna figure out what else is out there. How I can make my article more unique or different. And maybe the way we're different is we'll do a video instead of a written post, right? Maybe it's like this, it's an interview. That's how you can stand out, because there's probably 5,000 articles, but maybe only 5 videos. And maybe all the videos are super long, so we'll make this one short and sweet and to the point. But figure out how you can be different or unique. And I think the third thing about this is figure out, once you have the idea, the promotion plan. And so while you go, let's say you're gonna have a writer write this on this topic, go get the writing part started, write the outline, figure out what's gonna make the article unique, whatever. And in parallel, figure out how you're gonna promote this thing. And my rule is if you don't have 5 ways to promote this thing, an article, don't even create it. And so your email list would be number 1. Maybe you have a big Facebook group, or you're involved in a Facebook group, or you're gonna push it on Growth Hackers if you're in B2B content or marketing space. But like you got to figure out the different angles you're going to use. Maybe reaching out to influencers is another one, but you have to figure out the 4 or 5 different things you're going to do. And if you can't come up with them, it's a good sign your article is going to be bad. It's just not going to work. The world of content is too saturated and too competitive, meaning there's too much of it and there's a lot of good stuff. So you have to figure out how you can be better.
So when you do send outreach emails, like, you want somebody to link to it or tweet it out or whatever. So I get these emails a lot, as do you. Yeah. So most of them are pretty bad, or like these tactics that everybody's using. I mentioned you, or I found a broken link, you name it. So I just usually ignore them. It even pisses me off because I see what you're doing, but you're not telling me that you're doing this to get a link, like you're trying to scam me, so it pisses me off. So have you found like an email formula, if you will, that works today pretty well?
It's really all about building that relationship. So your first email is maybe even the time you're writing the piece of content. So I found the best and most successful tactic to get to anybody, it doesn't matter how many emails they receive, is you get them involved in creating the piece of content, right? And so if I'm a brand new blog and this is my first blog post, probably can't pull that off, right? Maybe you need some backlog, or you need to do maybe prerequisites to that. But if I'm writing a piece of content, the best way to get influencers and leaders involved is getting them involved, either reviewing it or to add feedback to it. And again, like you've probably said lots of things on what I'm going to write about if it's conversion related, so I can just pull a quote and ask for your permission to use the quote and let you know that I'm going to reference you. Now, that part just gets that person involved in the actual creation of the content, and they're probably not going to do much with it, but now you've given value. Instead of, hey, I saw you wrote about this, give me this. Like, people keep taking. I suggest giving and asking for feedback or involvement. The other angle that works really, really well these days is building that relationship, maybe pointing out something that's wrong with their site, or something that's broken, or again, like having nothing to do with the promotion, just pinging them. And a compliment goes a long way. I've emailed Richard Branson, Bill Gates. I've got a response from all these guys. And I tell them one thing that they've done in their business, their like a video they've done, and then how I use it in my life. And I mean, that's it takes me a while to write this email, but you got to mean it. And when you get in the zone of like past that layer of like, who is this person? Then you can ask for whatever you want, and likely the answer, even if it's no, won't leave the sour taste in someone's mouth.
I've seen people use, like all kinds of spreadsheets with, like once you publish a blog post and submit to growth hackers, inbound, or that's now gone, growth something, Twitter, Facebook, this group, these LinkedIn groups. So do you think that this kind of like a almost semi-automated checklist type of content distribution is effective?
So I actually have like a 19-point checklist, and it's like I look at that 19 points of like, which ones can I use? If you submit to growth hackers or inbound when it existed and you didn't get on the newsletter, you got jack shit. You got no traffic, or little to none, right? So if you submit on Product Hut, that's a bigger launch strategy where you can aim to get on their email list. The key is really email list, right? So one of the promotion tactics is build an email list and send emails to it regularly. I look forward to your guys' emails all the time. Like, that is how I read about conversion stuff. Email list is one, but I think the formulaic stuff generally doesn't work well. Like, how much traffic can you possibly get from posting on LinkedIn? Like, sure, people talk about all the views and followers you can get. Like, no one is yet to say how much revenue that's generated for somebody or traffic it's brought in. So I think social media is like one area. It's like, okay, make sure it's posted somewhere, but that's not a strategy. That's just like that's a thing every company should be doing, right? Sharing it. But I think outreach, maybe to folks that are in the space, good old-fashioned link building is good as well. So the things I do more than I create new content is I update old content. I take some of my best content that I've written in the past and I refresh it. I update it, change it up, keeping the URLs the same, but I leverage SEO as a channel. And again, that goes back to research, right? Like, so I have an article on my blog, SujanPatel.com, and I rank on page 2 for referral marketing. So this month, I'm not going to focus on creating new content. I'm going to make sure there's 2 keywords around referral marketing that I'm going to rank for. Because if I go from page 2 to page 1, I'm going to get a lot more organic traffic. And that organic traffic on that post, then I can promote a new post to it. So that's another way to kind of get traffic. Maybe it's a sidebar, maybe it's a banner on your site, whatever it is. Don't forget about the old school tactic that's kind of basic knowledge at this point.
They say that you should spend at least the same amount of time on distribution as you do on writing the content. So if you take 2 days to publish or put together a piece of content, you should spend 2 days promoting it. You think there's some truth to it, or?
So I actually think it's like 80% of your time should be focused on promoting and doing the outreach. I don't think enough people do that. Like, I think the problem is there's too much content out there. And that's good. It's not even like, 10 years ago, we would be talking about how there's so much e-how crap or like clickbaity stuff, right? And that's kind of come and gone a little bit, but there's good quality content out there. So I think you have to spend a lot of time trying to figure out how you can actually promote this thing, and building those relationships and doing the outreach beforehand, during, afterwards to go do it. Now, not to say that like it's time consuming work. It might not be very difficult work, right? So you can maybe outsource finding the emails or the contact information. Maybe you can outsource somebody writing the email copy for you, or somebody managing that part. But then after that, the responses can be really easily manageable.
If you want more interviews like this, subscribe to my channel.